Hello, everybody. It is Elise, and it is Monday, December 2nd, AD 2024, and it is, we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey, The Hake Report show, everybody. I do want to talk briefly a little bit about, like, a snake. There was a woman was driving, and she saw a snake in her car. Wow, scary. What a mess. That's terrible. How's my internet, guys? The world. Let me refresh that. Maybe it'll kick on. Nice. We're going to have a fun show. We're looking at the clouds, looking down from Mount Baldy. Very nice. Among other things, we will talk about some stuff going on in the world. Did you hear about Joe Biden pardoning his son Hunter? And I never talked about Hunter Biden, contrary to some liars who've called into the Hake Report, who've called into American Anchor Baby, accusing us, the JLP network, the Bond crew, of giggling about, Hunter getting that nose candy. We don't talk like that. We don't care about that. I've never heard anybody be like, ooh, and then as if there's some double standard. That's dumb. Is not something that, for whatever reason, any of us has been interested in. Because I don't know what he was doing in the Ukraine or in China or wherever. Interestingly, Biden, I heard, pardoned his son for going back 10 years. 10 years? I heard that the statute of limitations for the things that they're accusing him of goes back only 5 years. So why the 10-year thing? Maybe because he was doing some real shenanigans. But don't know, don't really care. I always stood with Hunter. I like Hunter. Hunter Fuentes, 2032. Because Vance is going to be a one-term president. He's not going to do well. I'm kidding around. But, yeah, I don't care about that. It is sort of interesting, somewhat, the shenanigans that get pulled. There you go. Come on, baby. Come on. I'm encouraging my computer's internet to keep it moving. You got this, baby. By the way, I have this thing. Look, it's a sticker. Talk about that in a second. So that's my little spiel on that, you know? I don't really care. So anyway, guys, let's just get right on with the show! Darn, I double-clicked it. Complicated business. Oh. No, hold on. Give me a second. Now it's time to get with the show.
Have you been naughty or nice?
There we go.
The Hake Report. The Hake Report.
Hey guys! Look at that beautiful wood plank. That's holding me up from falling down. So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I have a nice, for a second I thought that this was a Donna Karan shirt, DK. I only wear Donna Karan. And I wear British Knights for my shoes, my kicks. But no, this is Nautica. And no, I think I got it from like Ross, maybe. or Goodwill, or maybe it was a hand-me-down. I don't know where I got it. Look at this beautiful scenery. We're looking out. This was almost a year ago, the 23rd of December, or 24th of December, 2023 AD. Coming down from Mount Baldy, I hiked up, and it was the last call to ride the ski lift down, and it's always a vibe. It's always a vibe. I think it took me forever to get up there because the traffic was so backed up. So anyway, I checked that out. Some serious mess going on in the world. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. By the way, this was a story from Bigg Bump. We didn't get to it. Bigg Bump co-hosted with Hake on Friday. He said, rest in peace to one of the greatest, this Jewish filmmaker, Jim Abrahams, brilliant director of Airplane, Naked Gun. He died at the tender age of 80 years old. Gone too soon. He looked like he was fit, too. And, you know, these weirdos with their weird glasses. Look at his weird glasses. But shout out. Hey, have you seen Hake sometimes? Died at 80. I saw Airplane. I saw Spaceship as well. I don't know if it was made by the same guy. I don't know if I ever watched Naked Gun. But anyway, what a mess. Along with his brothers Jerry and David Zucker, they invented a whole new style of comedy with constant stream of quips, sight gags, and jokes that barraged viewers with hilarity, Variety reported. Wow. Is that him? Is that he himself? I don't know. And Frank, don't call me Shirley. Abrahams and his cohorts, if you watched Airplane, you would know what that's a reference to. Abrahams and his cohorts first tried out their comedic style in the 1977 film Kentucky Fried Movie, was until the 1980, before I was even born, sneak hit Airplane, ! That their style really made a major impact on filmmaking, as Abrahams and the Zuckers packed hundreds of jokes and parodies into their films, wowing audiences everywhere. And it was kind of degenerate at the time, by the way. I will have you know. What a mess. I remember there had been some dirty jokes in there. You know, they're not Christians. The writing and directing team had stumbled across a 1957 film entitled 0 Hour, which former pilot Ted Stryker had to overcome his fear of flying and land a plane that had an incapacitated crew. They saw it as a perfect vehicle for parody, and that film, Airplane, was born. Very fun. Very cool. Made a whole bunch of other movies. Hot Shots. I vaguely remember that, but they kind of inspired the Austin. I didn't watch those Austin Powers. Oh, you people with your trendy follower trendy mess. Hake wasn't allowed to watch Naked Gun. No, that's Leslie Nielsen. What the Hake? Oh, Leslie's a man. That's that white-haired guy. Oh, yeah. I recognize that name and face. So, I mean, you would probably get me to laugh at these dirty, trendy movies like Austin Powers, but I never got into it. It's kind of like I didn't want to like Dumb and Dumber, but my friends laughed at it so much that it started to make me laugh. My wall went down, and I started to like it somewhat. Nice. So rest in peace, talented, unchristian guy. Very fun. And shout out to Bigg Bump for the tip. That's cool. See, look at that. Terrible. He was born to a lawyer father, a lawyer. Of course, don't blame him. His father was a lawyer. And his mother was an educational researcher. Not Christians. I don't know. What a mess. They can't help it. That's just how they are. And unfortunately, they've been kind of dominating American culture and turning the culture from being nice and civilized and polite and moral into being degenerate. I don't know if you blame him entirely for that, but I don't know. I don't know if it was a good influence. Well, he had a wife of 48 years. You know, he gave in to her. His daughter, sons, and grandchildren. Well, rest in peace and shout out. Very nice. Thank you, Bigg Bump. That's cool. We didn't get to that because we were taking your calls. And there were callers that I did not get to. See, all these guys look the same. That looks just like Leslie Nielsen. No, it doesn't. A little bit. I mean, it's hard to tell. It's kind of like Joe Rogan and that other guy who owns UFC. No, I like the Jews. I just noticed that they're not Christian. They don't have those natural constraints of decency. You know what I mean? But I like them. What a mess. Terrible. Okay. And you can really notice it, but I disavow noticing such things. It's a mess. Okay, this is crazy. Real fast. Fun story, sort of. Rogan and Dana White look completely different, Hake. Okay. Australian woman finds a deadly tiger snake at her feet while driving 50 miles an hour. And where was this? But, of course, the place where no flat earther dwells, Australia. Australian woman, according to CNN Common Nonsense Network. I saw this in the news updates, morning updates. Found a deadly tiger snake at her feet driving 50 miles. She was driving 50 miles an hour. An article by Hannah Zladi. Nice name. Okay, so this is a picture of a tiger snake, not a complete picture, unfortunately. I don't get where CNN gets off cropping this picture like this, or whoever did it. Maybe it was the very snake. This was November 30th. Tim Naninga of Melbourne Snake Control, Melbourne, Australia, or is it Melbourne, Australia, captures a deadly tiger snake for release on the side of the freeway near Melbourne in Australia. Shout out to the Australians. And unfortunately, there are flat earthers. I mean, shout out, whatever. But no flat earther lives on the coast. Because if you saw the sun set over the ocean or rise over the ocean, you'd be like, oh my gosh, obvious globe. But that's not what this story is about, really. It's about a snake around her feet, climbing up her leg. Listen to this. Police in Australia said a woman was forced... I don't know why this made international news, but hey, it's good to know for me. Police in Australia said a woman was forced to fend off a deadly tiger snake in her vehicle while driving 50 miles an hour on a freeway outside of Melbourne. They responded to reports of a barefoot woman. And by the way, it's summertime over there. Is it summer already? No. It's late spring. It's probably maybe hot. Who knows? Because they're south of the equator. That means where it's winter up here, fall turning into winter, it's late spring turning into summer. And it's like 40 degrees, whatever that is. I know that it's hot. 40 degrees is hot. Centigrade, Celsius. It's like maybe even hotter than that. I only know Fahrenheit somewhat. I know 100 degrees Celsius is like 200 degrees. Fahrenheit degrees are finer degrees than the clunky, big old Celsius degrees. Use the snake puppet for this story, Hake. Yeah, I know, because we couldn't see the snake's face. You could only see the snake's body. What a beautiful snake, though. Wow. That's a tiger snake? And he's holding it with his bare hand. But, of course, he has the tool to hold the neck down or something away from him. Ah. Why? Pop-ups. She told officers she'd been traveling 80 kilometers an hour, whatever that is, about 50 miles an hour, when she felt something on her foot. You're like an English country. Why don't you keep English? She felt something on her foot and looked down to find a tiger snake, one of the world's most venomous serpents, slithering up her leg. This is a shout out to the ladies. Remarkably, she was able to fend the snake off her and weave through the traffic before pulling over and leaping out of her car to safety. And if she was, you're not supposed to drive barefoot, by the way. That's her fault, I heard. It might even be against the law in the nanny state of California. Like, it's not even really advisable to drive in flip-flops, you know, the sandals, the thong sandals. I don't know why this thing jumps around. So she's like, ooh, ah, might have burned her feet. It's like when you get arrested on a hot day. This never happened to me, but I imagine. And they put you face down on the pavement. Oh, that's like cruel and unusual, not even a punishment. Wow. She was assessed by paramedics to ensure she had not been bitten. Good for you, lady. I wonder how cool-headed she really was, but congratulations on surviving and not getting bitten and not causing an accident, hopefully, and other things. Australia is famous for deadly creatures, including a wide variety of sharks, snakes, two of the world's most poisonous spiders. I don't know why anybody goes there. I know Asians who speak with an Australian accent. In October, a solo hiker was found alive after suffering a snake bite, missing nearly 2 weeks in Australia's snowy mountains. There's no snow in Australia, is there? Is there snow in Australia? Tim Naninga, who's the guy pictured here, I think. Yep. What did he say? He was called to the scene to capture and relocate the snake. Hey, shout out, they relocated the snake. They didn't kill the snake. Sometimes they kill the rattlesnakes. You know, I heard from a herpetologist that you're not supposed to kill rattlesnakes or anything like that, if you can help it. It's a miracle how she got off the road and safely parked the car, he told 9 News. Normally, when snakes are in cars, they find a really nice little hidey hole, and they can stay in for days and not come out. We're lucky the snake moved along to the back of the car. Tropical weather in Melbourne has drawn snakes out of creeks and riverbeds, they say. Kind of like when it rains over here, we get the earthworms. Scary stuff, huh? Hake enunciates out of his nose like, Jesse. Herpetologists. Herpetology is the study of reptiles and amphibians, I'm pretty sure. Are you a herper? Herpetology, the study of amphibians and reptiles. See, I got it backwards. Also sometimes called herps. And it's funny because it sounds like an STD, but sorry kids, ladies. But it's actually animals. I knew a couple of herpers in my day. I did a tour of the I did a tour of the community colleges as a young man, even while attending normal university and afterwards, after I finished college, I went to the different ones. I went to Pasadena City College. I went to Citrus College. That's where I saw the herper. Went to southeastern Arizona and dealt with the monsoons. Cool. I went to Rio Hondo College, took Chinese class and statistics. But that was after I had already graduated. I just went to hang out with a buddy of mine. And it was fun. I have a Chinese name from that. Anyway, very nice. David in Ocala, Florida is on the line over here. David, how you doing? Thanks for calling and holding, man.
Hey, what's happening, man?
Hey, good to hear from you.
Yeah, Kevin Howe said, I hope David calls in with a Christmas story, but when you started talking about Airplane and Kentucky Fried Movie, I had to call in and talk to you.
Oh, so you've heard of Kentucky Fried Movie?
Oh, yeah, I went to the movie theater and saw it at 11 years old.
Whoa! Was it it older? Was it more than PG-13, or did they have even PG-13 back then?
It was rated R, but my brother was 16 and his friend Keith was 16. All three of us went, and our friend Keith knew the girl at the ticket window, so she sold us tickets to it. What's
the name of the movie again?
Kentucky Fried Movie. That was their first movie.
Okay.
Abrams and Zucker.
Yeah.
Zucker brothers and Abrams. Yeah. And
it was rated R back then. I wonder if it would be rated R today. You know how they've gotten lax?
You couldn't get away with the stuff that they had in that movie.
Oh, really? I was thinking it would probably be PG-13 nowadays.
No, it was totally radical. I mean, they had all these look like movies, fake movies like That's Armageddon was one of them, and all the producer's name was Samuel L. Bronkowitz presents Cleopatra Schwartz. I mean, it's just it was really radical for 1976 or 7 when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it starts off with this funky music from the 30s. I forget which song it is. It sort of goes da-na-na-na-na-na-na, like that, whatever it was. And anyway, all of a sudden this news guy comes up. This is the first scene. News guy comes up, and he goes, the popcorn you're eating's just been pissed in, film at 11, and the whole place broke out laughing.
Whoa. Scary.
Yeah, it was, a lot of stuff in that movie. They had a thing called Catholic High School Girls in Trouble. I mean, it was, one of the things was this daredevil guy named Rex Kramer. They show him all daredeviled up like he's Evel Knievel. And he next scene, he's in Harlem, and he walks up to a bunch of black guys that are playing dice around a fire, and he just steps right in the middle of them and says the N-word and takes off running.
Whoa.
And they go chasing after him, yeah. But anyway, the movie, when I went and saw that movie with my brother and his friend, we got a 6-pack of Budweiser, and we were burning weed, and we went in there and had a great time.
Inside of the movie theater?
No, before we got in.
Oh, okay. So you're out in the parking lot doing that? Wow, you're a bad kid.
Well, that was the 70s, man. So what happened was Airplane was a skit in the movie, and they said it was too long. Okay. So they made a movie. Yeah, so they went ahead and made Airplane as an individual movie from Kentucky Fried Movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, those guys were genius, because the last skit in Kentucky Fried Movie is this guy and girl making out on a couch, and the guy turns on the TV and the news comes on, and the news guys can look through this TV and see them making out.
Wow, that's terrible, man. What a mess.
It's sort of genius, If
Yeah.
you think about it. I mean, they had genius minds to come up with the stuff that they came up with. Then I went and saw Airplane when I was 14. When I went to go buy school clothes for the 10th grade.
Okay.
And you know, I tell people. I mean, I'm not proud of this, but it is. This girl that I went with, she had these things called Quaaludes, and she gave me one, and we drank some beer and smoked some weed. And I'm telling you, Hake, that was the best buzz I ever had in my life.
Wow. So worldly, man. Sorry, kids.
That's why I told you, man. I've had a crazy life, buddy.
Is that that's what Bill Cosby had with those gals?
Mm-hmm.
According
many of
to
'em.
somebody. And it was a party drug. And now he may or may not have had their permission, they say. I don't know. I don't care. But it was basically a party drug. It's kind of like giving somebody some alcohol. But anyway,
Well,
yeah.
it was a muscle relaxer. They originally came out for sleep aids, you know, and if you could get through the phase that was going to knock you out and make you sleep, you had to press through that. And it was, it was just they got rid of them because people were crashing cars into trees and killing themselves.
Wow. Quaaludes, huh?
Yeah. But airplane, man, you couldn't get away with airplane today because the cockpit scene when the little boy's up there and the pilot says, Jimmy, let me ask you, have you ever seen a grown man naked? I mean, you couldn't get away with that now.
Yeah, it's different times for sure. And the people, and there's stuff today that's too nasty for back then, really.
Probably.
Because you know how they... Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll just never forget the scene in the when I was in the movie theater watching the movie Airplane, and they're playing Staying Alive in the bar, and the guy gets stabbed in the back with the knife and stuff.
Wow.
That's when I sort of lost it, you know, because he kept taking his thumb and motioning it back to his back because he had a knife in his back, and then everybody started doing that.
They thought he was dancing.
Right.
Man.
I mean, you saw the movie,
see,
right?
these people have like a dark sense of humor, darker than Hake's, maybe.
Well, you got the lady from Leave It to Beaver, you know, I Speak Jive, and she comes up and starts
I do remember that. You seem like you're still cracking up to this day.
Well, those were two of my favorite movies, man.
That's funny, man.
So is Police Squad. I like that too.
Okay.
Leslie Nielsen. Yeah, there's a scene he's on in Naked Gun. He's doing hopscotch. Okay, you know what hopscotch is?
Yes.
You know what the
Yep.
And he gets through the end of it, and he says, "And by the way, where the hell am I?" Just stuff like that. It was, you know what I'm saying? It's like he's in the middle of nowhere doing hopscotch, and then he gets done. You know that.
Oh, okay.
Humor,
Yeah.
You know, and it's like you know, when she's up on the stairs, not stairs, a ladder, and he looks up and says, "Nice beaver," and she goes, "Yeah, I just had it stuffed."
I don't get it.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. All right, man. I'll let you go on with your show, man. Have a great day.
You as well, David and Ocala.
Right,
Take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye. What a mess. Some of the best humor in movies ever. No, I never really got into hopscotch. I liked dodgeball, the one where they have a whole circle. Their films are evergreen, thanks, David, says Bigg Bump. You could call it a classic because it stands the test of time. I think maybe you have to be there, though, because the stuff that he's saying it doesn't really hit. I think you have to be there or you know the reference. Shout out. Okay, let me get to some super chats. There were some super chats, I believe, that I didn't get to, and we'll keep it moving. They're pushing this phony thing called health anxiety now. What a mess. Carver bought a coffee. Don't remember whether I read this one. Hey, Hake, Merry Holidays. Do you agree with me that Biden's current body double, better known as our second greatest president, intentionally tanked Kamala's campaign so he could pardon Hunter without consequence? Taking a dive at the debate, acting tardigrade, wearing the MAGA hat, and calling the voters garbage all seems to add up. P.S. I disavow all the assumptions I'm making. Nice. Me too, Carver. I like that Biden called us garbage. I don't know if he called me garbage. He might. If he heard some of the things I say. Some of these blacks, you know, they're like, you said something that was uncalled for. You said that there's a shortage of air traffic controllers so blacks can get jobs at doing air traffic control. There's jobs for you blacks. That was uncalled for. Your tone was condescending. And I don't think of myself as being hurting anybody's feelings at all or being looking down on anybody. It's fun. It's funny. It's fun. It may not even be funny, but it's meant in fun. It's kind of like when David and Ocala was saying those off-color jokes. Off-color meaning inappropriate. Sorry, kids and ladies, I guess. You could clearly tell he didn't mean any harm. He wasn't trying to be inappropriate. It was just David being his boyish self, enjoying the boyish, unchristian, because I don't want to call it Jewish, humor. It's fine. But people are like, hey, you're being garbage towards the blacks. You're hating them. Maybe you're just hating what I'm saying because I'm not even... There's no harm meant. The hate. What the hake? It's like the things that I say ring in their ears, and I'm not even really considering much about what I'm saying. I say it and move forward. But different things stick. It's like my girlfriend if I had one. Just holding on to something that I said, misinterpreting it, and holding it against me. Blacks. And maybe Joe Biden, if he were to call me garbage. And I don't hold it against Joe Biden calling us garbage. I know that he thinks we're garbage. Or I know that he thinks a lot of us are garbage anyway. I include you whites with us. You are included with us, even though you don't want to call me anymore, even though you're mad at me. You're included with us. You whites who don't want to call me anymore, you're mad at me. I assume. It doesn't matter because Joe Biden speaks his mind. He kind of does. I just like that about him. That's the one thing I like about him, that he speaks his mind. He's kind of old school. So a shout out to him for that. Shout out to him for the MAGA hat. That was fun. A shout out to him for being a mess at the debate. He was weaker than I'd ever seen him. And by the way, Merry Holidays doesn't sound right. It's Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Carver. You're messing with my central nervous system, my CNS. To steal a phrase perhaps inappropriately appropriated from Lin Yan Chin, saying, I am remiss in not reading your super chats. It messes with his central nervous system, CNS. I don't think of it as a body double. But I think that he truly is our second greatest president. But I think it might have to be our first president is second greatest. George Washington. But I could be way off on that. George Washington did a day of Thanksgiving. It was back in October at some point. It should be illegal to say Merry Holidays. I'm with you, Eric. What's up, man? So thank you, Carver. Hey, nice to see you. Happy Thanksgiving, Popcorn Thump Keg, who says, what are your thoughts on Biden pardoning his son? My initial thoughts are he said that he wasn't going to do it. So outside of some extenuating circumstances, I would have liked him to stick to his principles, or at least his word. I didn't expect him to stick to either. Although I didn't really expect him to pardon him. I was a little surprised, honestly. Mildly surprised. On the flip side, there are no wins for him not pardoning Hunter, says Popcorn's Thump Cake. Good point, I think. People on the right aren't going to be like, wow, this guy said he wasn't going to pardon his son, and he stuck to his guns. I admire that. That's right, I wouldn't. I'd be like, that makes you a darn fool. Sorry, don't say fool, kids, especially not darn fool. When Biden said that he wasn't going to pardon him, I recall you saying that he was too weak to do it. I probably did say something like that. Well, now that he has pardoned his son, what are your thoughts? Would you take issue with Trump pardoning either of his sons if they were convicted of federal crimes, or would it depend on the circumstances? I don't imagine that I would take issue with any pardon that Trump meted out. You know, I remember people got kind of mad that he pardoned the blacks, some of these blacks, rappers and degenerates. And I kind of like that. Okay, he pardoned Kwame Kilpatrick. Kwame Kilpatrick was a mayor of, was he a Detroit mayor or something? Trump did. And now Kwame Kilpatrick is pro-Trump. Is it because of that, or is it because that Kwame Kilpatrick had some decency in him and some sense in him already? I don't know. Or maybe both. Is there any decency in Kwame? Why does he have that name, Kwame? Kwame, Kilpatrick. But Trump has always liked the blacks. Always. Kwame Malik Kilpatrick, American politician, previously served 72nd mayor of Detroit, 2002 to 08. A Democrat, previously represented Michigan House of Representatives from 97 to 02. .6'5", wife was married to him from 95 through 2018. Don't know if that's from a divorce or what, but he was I think he went to prison for a while. And it's while and white because WH makes that sound, I learned. And ever since then, I've said it. And I said that before I ever even knew who Jared Taylor was. You guys say, oh, you copied him. How about proper English speakers speak alike? Resigned as mayor in 08, being convicted of perjury. That means lying, whatever. Lying to somebody. And obstruction of justice. Sentenced to 4 months in jail. Oh. Released on probation, 99 days. Then he got 18 months to 5 years in prison in 2010, state prison, violating his probation. Whoa. Then he was sentenced to 28 years in federal prison. Because in 2013, he caught a bunch of federal felony counts. Mail fraud, wire fraud, racketeering, whatever those things are. Nobody even knows what those things are. Nobody who matters anyway. I'm kidding, Joe from Phoenix. You matter. He had served 76 months of his 336-month sentence. Trump commuted his sentence. So he didn't even pardon him. He just commuted his sentence. Commuting your sentence means that you tell the sentence to take a hike, go commute somewhere else, and you get out of jail for free or prison or whatever. That's what he looks like. He's fatter than I pictured for some reason. That's not even necessarily fat, but anyway. I don't know what I pictured with that name. What a mess. Anyway, Political science. Don't blame him. He got a degree in political science. He doesn't know anything. He didn't know better. But anyway, he was on the radio in 2024 being kind of pro-Trump. Right on. And isn't it kind of typical of black politicians? Like oh, dang, he's a pretty big guy. Looks like it anyway. He looks like a cartoon Batman boss. Whoa, that's where he was? Oh, no, that's the Michigan Hall of Justice. I thought that was a prison where he was. Oh, Lord. That looks a lot like Hillary Clinton. Some white female governess began an inquiry that led to his being taken out. Look at her. It doesn't look like Hillary anymore. Hillary looks better than her. Whoa! Okay, anyway, back to Biden pardoning Hunter. I think that Biden was not honest about it, even in his reasoning I think, or whoever is handling him, right? Reasoning for the pardon, saying, oh, he was unfairly targeted because he's my son or whatever. Yeah, okay, I can kind of understand because the Republicans were all excited about getting Hunter. And Trump was like, where's Hunter? So in that sense, they were kind of pointing out, oh, see, the Biden's crime family. But it's kind of like they were excitedly pointing out that there is a double standard and these guys get away with stuff. So it kind of pushed. But it was, when you're excited, that's not a good motivation. When you're excited, that's not a good motivation for, like David and Ocala. He was excited again to attack JLP for being a real Christian. That's a time to be still from that excitement. It's kind of like the excitement to go after Trump. There's all this excitement to go after Trump. You know that that's not a good motivation. Just the facts, Steve. Just the facts. Remember, like, there was this Hunter Biden laptop story where this laptop, there was some information on the laptop that was bad, something like that, I don't know. And it was suppressed by the government or it was not suppressed by the government, it was kind of, a little bit suppressed by the government. Seemingly, like people were saying, oh, it may be Russian disinformation, but it wasn't at all, I don't think. And I never really understood nor cared about the Hunter Biden laptop story. But for some reason, they were scared of it. So the social media censored it. What a mess. What a mess. What was it? I wonder if I have it. Let's see. I might have retweeted the pardon. Okay. No, that's not it. There might be around here. Rest in peace, Izzy. He was too fat. Rest in peace, though. Oh, yeah. So what they say is that he committed like a fraud, hiding his the way that he made money. I don't know. I don't really care. What are they saying? Hunter did not forget to file his taxes. Lord. Hunter did not forget. He was treated differently. Hold on. Hunter did not forget to file his taxes because he got high. He created shell corporations to disguise the sources of income, according to Cernovich. And he quote tweets himself from like a year and almost a half ago. What a scam article. People who file honest tax returns and fall behind on payments don't go to jail. The IRS is actually flexible on payments. Hunter Biden created shell LLCs to hide income derived from foreign sources. He laundered money to evade taxes, 5 to 10 years in prison. And so he gives screenshots of this particular article that says, the fact of the matter is no one goes to jail anymore for not paying their taxes on time. And it's mess. Terrible lies. Interesting. Sort of. There was this ASAC, whoever that is, Timothy Thibault, the lowlife who led 2 years ago, Cerno tweeted, led the hoax claiming Hunter Biden's laptop was disinformation. IG found he acted illegally, Inspector General. FBI whistleblowers claim Thibault ran Point Man on illegal off-the-books operation to shut down the Hunter Biden case. What? What's this? The laptop thing, you know? So it was treated differently, according to them, kind of, in order to protect Biden running for president, who was running for president back at the time. Interesting. Oh, and this is interesting to me. This part. Taxes are supposed to be voluntary, Hake, says Golden Rule TV. Oh, Lord. You one of those sovereign citizen people? Andrew, I mean, I agree with you. They're unconstitutional, but you better pay him, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Andrew Weissman telling us about Biden's character. Listen to this. This is not a Christian. And he's pretending like Biden is this honorable man. Listen to this, and then I'll get to your calls, okay? This is on MSLSD.
What is before us is a president who is living the rule of law. He is living it in the most personal way. He is not pardoning his son.
What's funny is this was retweeted by Douglas Mackey, a guy who was jailed for memes or something. I don't remember. He was like an alt-right type of a guy. And he said, hey, blacks, text your vote to Hillary. And so the feds went after him. And then Trump is living the quote-unquote rule of law. He's like really living with this mess coming down hard on him. What is before us is a president who is living the rule of law. He's living it in the most personal way. He's not pardoning his son, blah, 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 what you could do. He's not doing that because he's living what it means to have rule of law in this country. Trump is a man, it was and is the law and order president, and that's why they went after him and subverted the law to try to make it like he's the lawbreaker. When they're the lawbreakers, they don't care about the border. They don't care about marriage, the real marriage thing. They don't care about abortion. They don't care about the feds doing their thing. They don't care about anything. They don't care about Black Lives Matter tearing apart the country. They don't care about pot. Anyway.
Which he could do. These are federal charges. Right. He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country. Yeah. And then it is
with your girly voice.
And, I mean, if you want to know if he believes it, you could.
But he looks like a man. Why does he sound so girly? I guess you have to sound girly to be on MSNBC.
Actually see what is happening with his own.
This woman used to be on Fox News, I think.
Son. I mean, I'm not saying that he should get credit for it because it is the right thing to do.
That's the norm, but Trump is beneath it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Trump is beneath it. Be quiet, evil woman.
It's that the idea that you can't see it, or is that really what's going on? Or when you can see what he is actually living by is his own son is being prosecuted, and he is allowing the norms that are required to live in a democracy to go forward. What is before
all right,
us?
All right. That's enough of that. Girly man. You know what? You want to know who else is girly? Oh, hold on. I got to mute this because that's ridiculous. Look at this guy. Eric Holder. Eric Holder's all in the replies right now going, Hunter Biden. Look at this. Eric Holder, the Obama Attorney General, the first one. We need to look at him in a Christian church. We need to brainwash, with a pink phone cover, we need to brainwash people against guns. With his weird, I like weird-faced people, but with his weird face, shout out. Anyway, he was campaigning for Kamala at that point, and he had Return of the Mac, and Douglas Mackey called him cornball. I don't like that term, but it fits. It suits him. He's like, we are not going back. Kamala Walz 2024. Hashtag vote November 4th. Embarrassing. Look at all this. Evil Eric Holder, and then these two females who are so-called Supreme Court justices in Michigan, the far-left extremist Michigan. How embarrassing. So shout out to Douglas for that. Mackey. What an embarrassment. You know what? And I bring up him partly because Eric Holder was an Obama so-called Supreme Court not a Supreme Court. He was a, look, it looks like I'm picking his nose. He was a Obama so-called Attorney General, the top cop. And he lied on the Ferguson report, pretending like, oh, Ferguson police discriminated against blacks more even than the rest of the country. No, they did not. That turned out to be a lie. Shout out to John R. Lott Jr. for exposing that, as did this Rhino guy who went from Wall Street Journal to WSJ writer becomes NYT writer. Who's that guy? Brett Stevens? Is that his name? Wall Street Journal. No, not Peggy Noonan. I think it was Brett Stevens. He wrote Ferguson Lies in Statistics or something like that. Just these people pretended like, you know, gave false validity to Black Lives Matter, went after the right-wingers, the whites, the Tea Party, the whoever, Dinesh D'Souza, and all them. And didn't do anything about the corruption of their own selves. Sick people. Phonies. So that's what I think about that. It's par for the course with Biden. He was lying the whole time, perhaps, maybe, you know, kind of like Obama lied the whole time, lied that he was against same-sex marriage. He lied that he was for traditional marriage between a man and a woman. Oh, I evolved into supporting so-called same-sex marriage. No, we already knew that he was for it from the beginning if you listen to JLP or maybe Sean Hannity at that time. Ease up, Zazen. What the heck? Fix your name, too, by the way. Pardon me. Sniffing on camera, that's not good. I'm trying to nose breathe, and it just sounds awful. So, yeah, Biden's a liar. But I still like him. And I like Hunter as well. Let me double check over. I have so many different super chats that I miss. It's crazy. Let me double check over here. Thank you, Lin Yan Chin. I appreciate that. What's up, guys, over on the Rumble crew? Nice to see ya. Guys and gals, I suppose. Guys includes gals. Did you know? What's up, Misty and Army Ann? See, the ladies like Hake. They're okay with Hake somewhat sometimes. They're like, he's kind of funny sometimes. Okay. The only way I'm going to catch them all, gotta catch them all, is by checking my, these things. Hang on. There were some super chats over here that I gotta read. And then I will get to your calls. I missed this one on Kick. I'm speaking off the mic. All is good. 1009 love from Pakistan. Yo, man. Hey, shout out to Pakistan. See? Hake loves the... Is it bad to say... I'm not going to say it. Nick taught me a word for Pakistani people that I guess I'm not supposed to say on air. Maybe. But shout out. Love to Pakistan. See, we love everybody. Kelly says, I don't know if I should show this. Kelly, I don't know whether I should show this. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me pull this off camera and read it to you. Because out of respect for Kelly. See, I respect women. Cringe. Kelly says, good morning, Mr. Hake. I put a new comment in response to someone accusing me of having some sort of crush or idolizing or something. It is not very complimentary, so I want to direct your attention to it out of courtesy. It was only meant for your team anyway. Right on. Thank you. Much appreciated. And don't worry what people say. They're going to say it. They're going to think it. They're evil. That's on them. They are gossipers and mess. You know what I mean? So don't worry about it. We let the snakes be snakes. Don't be moved by them. Wish you well, Kelly. Kind. Aries 1 with 33 coffees. Of course. 33. Not good. There was a bunch of super chats that I missed from Mobetta, and I'm almost afraid to show them. Okay, so I read that one for sure. Hake shows his face every day. Do not be scared. That doesn't mean you should necessarily, but yeah, don't be afraid. But don't be foolhardy either. Any chance Trump will pardon his supporters still locked up who went a little too cray-cray on Jan 6? I don't know. Mossad is coming after the scared Hake donor. I already read that one. Kentucky John, drop the downers and get some caffeine and spicy tacos if you plan to fill Earl's shoes. Ask Joe from Arizona about Israeli manifest destiny in Gaza, Lebanon, Ukraine, West Bank, and Golan Heights. I support it if they can get away with it, you know? Maybe. And it's tough to get away with things nowadays, even when you get away with what you have a right to do. I'm not saying that they have a right to manifest destiny, but is it wrong? Is it so wrong? I don't know. Let them figure it out. Let those men over there handle it. Rick from VA is always next guy on hold as the show ends. We should let him on for Joel Black Friday. And unfortunately, Joel did not go live on Black Friday. Chosen people. Yes, they can. They can handle criticism. We just need to encourage them to handle criticism. Thank you, Curly. Thank you, Tim. Hey, this one was sort of interesting. Out of Order said, this was over on Odyssey. Wow, more yik yak about how Trump loves blacks and does everything for them. How about you talk about how he ignores white people and does nothing for white people? Jealous? No, Out of Order. You're out of order with that envy. You know what I mean? You're out of order on that. Because Trump doesn't have to do anything for white people. Being a great president is what all white people want from him, which he did. There's room for criticism, I suppose, right? But don't be like the blacks. What do you mean? Ignores white people and does nothing for white people. Please get out of here. Hake's guest this is in response to my guest a couple weeks ago. Man, I was blanking on him and I slandered his name, saying that he called where the Logan Paul and Jake Paul are from as the somewhere in America. I was confusing him with Justin, the Rhodesian Ridgeback, who speaks a little bit more like a man. But the 23-year-old guest of mine, a really bright young man, Cam Higby. Hake's guest was so pro-Israel, he was claiming that the Gaza population had increased since October 7th. That's not exactly true, Uncle Manlet. He said that it increased over the past however many decades or years. He didn't say that it increased since October 7th, although it was kind of... But he didn't say that. That dude was saying it was a fake genocide happening. It was astounding. In fact, it might have been a total troll, and I missed the reveal. It was that unbelievably wacky of a take. I disavow the notion of like a genocide. Give me a break. It's not a genocide. I don't even believe in the word genocide, first of all. But if I did believe in the word, I wouldn't be going around crying, oh, genocide. I think it's so girly to be talking like that. Genocide. You're basically turning into the girly people on behalf of the Palestinians, you know? You're turning into those people that you hate who are always crying about genocide, you know? Hake has a network of support and is great at censoring himself. You are a random guy. Take that into consideration when you think about showing your face. Yeah. Jesse's not going to fire me for saying Inga. Oh, man. So shout out to you guys who were hating on Cam Higby. Not hating, but Cam Higby. You worked with PragerU. 2022. I think he's not with them anymore. I'm cracking. That's terrible. I'm growing. I don't think he's with them anymore. I don't know what it is, but he's doing his own thing. A talented young man, expresses himself well, and whatever. Nice. Thank you guys bearing with me through that. I got to get to some calls. Alex in California is on the line over here. Alex, thank you for calling and holding, man. How you doing?
Thank you, Bear.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving. Do you still say that? Do you say that within a week of it?
I don't even do holidays. I don't care about holidays.
Right
I'm a
on.
single white man.
Say again?
Holidays. I'm a single white man.
Right on.
Holidays mean nothing to me.
Yeah. Right on. I like it.
So I'm sure you got people on hold, so we'll try to zip through. I had one main thing and two small things. My quote-unquote best friend is an Australian flat earther, and he lives in Sunshine Coast, which is on the coast, and we both know that it's flat.
Oh, dang. So debunked Hake's claims.
He's close to the ice wall.
So is it cold over there if he's closer to the ice wall?
I mean, their seasons are like 3/4 of the way opposite of ours, so you were right about it's like springtime for them.
Yeah.
But they have their silly Celsius and metric nonsense.
Oh, right. I know. What a mess.
Yeah.
They talk about 40 degrees. I'm like, that's freezing. They're like, what do you mean it's hot?
And then I tell him it's 100 here. He's like, oh, what's that? I'm like, it's very hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the main thing, last week, kind of went back and forth with Joe, talking about how blacks dismiss crime, and then they used Facebook Reels as an example.
Yeah.
And he just pretty much dismissed that too.
He totally did.
So I caught an example over the weekend of white people dismissing crime, and it was a little disappointing. I don't really care, but you know what I mean, a little disappointing to see. So I'll leave the details out, but basically we have singer A and singer B. Everybody kind of hates singer A because he's a loudmouth who talks smack about like everybody.
Yeah.
So he targeted singer B, and singer B had a previous band member who got in trouble for going after minors.
Whoa.
Yeah. So singer A started calling out singer B online, like, "Oh, this guy's not talking to me because I called out his old bandmate, yada yada." So normally, like with liberals and women in general, and a lot of metalheads who are very liberal, the minor thing or any type of sexual assault, they make a mountain out of a molehill with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Usually, but this time, because it was coming from singer A, who they all hate, they just completely dismissed it. And it's like, well, dude, the guy got charged and actually, in trouble for going after a minor, and you guys are just like, oh, whatever. It's, it's because it's from this guy. We don't care.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's insanity. But it's the same. It's the same thing with, like we were talking about the blacks dismissing, like theft and vandalism and, kind of more minor crimes, I guess, like that.
Right.
But it's the mindset, like you were talking about. It's not so much that, like myself, I don't get so upset about seeing the crime. I get more upset about seeing people dismiss it. Like, oh, like it's, they got insurance. They can, who cares if he's stealing it? They got insurance.
Yeah.
Like, so that makes stealing okay.
Yep. That's that communist excuse making. It's like Adam and Eve. The blaming and excuse making was maybe worse than the act itself.
Right. I'm not a fan of this excuse making and dismissal stuff.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, everyone should be held accountable no matter what team or color they're on.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah. So that's that, and then the smaller thing, not as important but still important, nose breathing. I want to know what Lin Yun Chin has to say about people with a deviated septum, because I suspect that I have a deviated septum, which makes it difficult for me to 24/7 nose breathe, especially when I'm running. Like yesterday, I ran cross country for about 2 miles.
Okay.
And you better believe that was through my mouth.
Yeah. Especially if you're hoofing it.
Yeah, and what I've learned from focusing on this stuff more is, at least when you're running, the exhale is much more important than the inhale. So if you control like the exhale, like you do a big exhale but controlled, and then just let your inhale be kind of natural, your body just do it on its own instead of thinking about it.
Yeah.
You're able to go longer, but you probably know all about that stuff because you're more of a runner than I am.
I wonder if I have a deviated septum, because I do have a crooked nose.
A little bit crooked on one side.
Yeah.
Or
like it
smaller
points,
nostril on one side.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I got that too.
You might be able to pick up on it when I even hold on, let me.
Well, we both have that kind of abnoid thing he was talking about, where we enunciate.
What's that?
Enunciate. He said something about abnoids a while back, how it affects our abnoids in the back of our throats, and I totally hear it, like nasal voices. I got one.
Me too.
Yeah, it's a mess. I wonder if it's a white people thing.
Yeah, I mean, we have our protruding noses that protrude far further than like a wide-nosed Asian or a wide-nosed black or a wide-nosed.
The not normal whites maybe having even more of an issue.
Oh yeah, theirs really protrude, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
It's like some of those Middle Easterners.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe Lin Yun Chin can get back to us about deviated septums. Maybe he has a little bit of room in his death camp for the nose breathers, a little bit of leniency for people who literally can't.
When I sleep on one side or I sleep on the other. If I'm lying on my right side, I can breathe through my nose quite easily. If I lie on my left side, I can barely even breathe through my nose sometimes. And I think it's because of that.
Side sleeping's bad, but I'm a side sleeper too.
So this is left side. Yeah. Oh, well, right. I mean, if I like to lay down on my back, but after a while, my back hurts. And I like to lay on my stomach, but my back really hurts.
Yeah, it all hurts after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
I wanna keep
tailbone hurts.
people holding
I sleep on the
too
floor. So anyway, yeah.
All right, Hake, you have a good one.
You too. Appreciate it, Alex in California. Take care. Good guy. I think he's a flat earther. And he just exposed Hake as a liar because Hake lied and said that there are no flat earth Australians. And he said he has a buddy, I don't know if he said Melbourne, but it's 3120 kilometers to the ice wall. 31, and the ice wall, for those who don't know, is, Lord, 1,938 miles to the ice wall is Antarctica. Antarctica, to them, to the flat earthers, is not a continent. It is the ice wall. There is no falling off the edge of the earth because it's surrounded by an ice wall. If you are a flat earther, for many, if not all, flat earthers, Antarctica is not that continent down at the South Pole. It is what surrounds us, and we're not allowed to go there. Allegedly. Very nice. Joe in Phoenix, Arizona is on the line here. Joe, thank you for calling and holding, man. How you doing?
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
I can. You sound fine.
All right. I'm always surprised that you like Trent Reznor.
You're surprised that I what, Trent Reznor?
That you like Trent Reznor music.
You know, I picked up on it. Trent Reznor.
It's not Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah, 9 Inch Nails. He is, you know, I didn't really pick up on him until like after college when I got into more worldly music. But is it Pretty Hate Machine? Trent Reznor.
Yeah, that's one of his albums. I believe, yeah.
And it starts off with the song called "Terrible Lie."
Yeah, Terrible Lie. Yeah.
And it's such a good song. He to me is kind of like a Eminem in that he's an sort of an overgrown, angsty person, but still I appreciate his talent. Both of those guys' talents. There are dumb liberals, but what do you expect? They're musicians, talented musicians.
Yeah, he's very talented, but he has some really just profane and and overly sexualized lyrics. But
right,
yeah, very, very talented guy.
Yeah. Did you used to like it?
Again, it's always a mixed emotion because the music is fantastic, but the lyrics and all that are terrible.
See, you're part white because no black, no. I mean, I'm kidding around with this, but no black likes. What is this? Industrial dance music? Industrial.
I have been mocked for my musical taste by the so-called blacks my whole life.
I'm sure. You're kind of like William from California, the number 3.
I have a respect for William. I never understand his praise of the Chief Keystone Cop, but I have respect for him.
Nice.
All right. Alex in California. No one was dismissing the crime. I was trying to encourage you to broaden your source of information. Social media is not a great way to get your information. That's all. So seemingly you missed the point there.
I think it is. I think social media is a great source for not all of your information, but for catch on to what's going on in the world. You do get a snapshot of what's going on in the world. And it's undeniable that this black crime is going on in the world.
Crime is crime, James, no matter who's doing it.
Right.
Black crime is not white crime. It's just crime.
I know, but they're blacks doing it, and they're disproportionately doing it. That's what, I mean, I'm not even really, don't be so sensitive.
Speaking of sensitive, I mean, I know you disagree, but I'm a very, very well-informed person, especially on matters of finance. Okay. I was shocked to learn over the weekend that the Federal Reserve, more shenanigans, the entity, not the people, but the entity does not pay taxes. I couldn't believe that.
You thought that they did pay taxes? It didn't even really occur to me. How do they make?
Sure.
How do they make their money?
They make their money by buying government debt and selling securities.
So the Federal Reserve buys government debt. And do they own all? Oh no, they own a lot of America's debt, but there's a whole lot of.
Huge, yeah.
But there's a whole lot of foreign countries that own a lot of debt too, China and others.
Sure. So we're talking billions of dollars per year that they're raking in, no taxes paid. I couldn't believe it.
Selling securities. What's securities? Just in brief, a sentence or less.
For example, mortgage-backed securities that I told you about before, where people, they bundle up mortgages and those monthly payments that are coming in, that all goes to the person who bought the mortgages, and they buy mortgage-backed securities.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
And so they're raking in a whole bunch of money, and how is that money distributed? Or is it just kept somewhere?
The shocking thing is that they don't pay taxes. I mean, you talk about the haves and the have-nots, James. My goodness.
How many employees and employers are at the Fed, the Federal Reserve entity?
Employees, I have no idea, but it is an entity itself, and they should be paying taxes here in America like everybody else, but no, they don't. Unbelievable.
Where did you learn that they don't pay taxes?
Except in a rare case on some real estate deals. They do. Where did I learn? Can't divulge that.
Oh. But wouldn't it be kind of public information? Like it's something that you could look up somehow? But quasi-public information? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep. So last week you said, Joe, can you name a single KKK person? And I couldn't.
Yeah.
Now I can. And Hayden in Texas, I hope you're listening. Thomas Robb, R-O-B-B. That's what your future looks like, Hayden.
Whoa.
Total loser. Already arrested for embezzlement of $20,000. The KKK Grand Wizard. Guy's a total loser. That's your future, Hayden, if you stay in that stupid movement you're in.
Now, there's a whole lot of KKK people, right, allegedly in the world. And everyone doesn't have the same future. What do you mean by that's your future?
They absolutely do. I told you before, you can't name a single successful, intelligent, articulate, far-right hatred person that's successful and leading a good, moral, upstanding life. They're all either PDFs or criminals in some way and just living a horrible, hate-filled, basement-dwelling life like the Chief Keystone Cop.
Well,
I'm glad I finally ran off your show.
I think you didn't run him off. That's funny.
Is he calling the Joel or Anchor Baby show?
Well, I want to get back to something that you said about these guys are losers. They're basement dwellers. They're not successful. There is a cultural attack, and there is an institutional attack on the whites, the independent thinkers, the crypto people, the Proud Boys. They get what's called debanked. Have you heard about debanking?
I have, absolutely.
And that's happened to a lot of these whites. I know you take issue with my calling them the whites, but when I talk about the whites, I'm talking about these whites, right? And that's happened to them. That's happened to Enrique Tarrio. I remember it happened to him. Like his bank, Chase Bank, I think, just stopped servicing him. A lot of these crypto bros, guys who are into cryptocurrency, they've been debanked. A lot of PayPal of sorts sort of debanked anybody who has anything to do with guns. Sale of guns, which is so ridiculous. So
I'm shocked to learn that these legal weed dispensaries, they're cash only because they can't get banking either.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So isn't that evil, this debanking? And my point is not to ask you whether it's evil. I am curious as to your thoughts on it. But there is a marginalization, to steal a liberal word. I like that word, actually, in my spite of myself. isn't there a marginalization of some of these guys? It's kind of, it's not all just because they're losers. It's because they're kind of forced into the hiding, into margins.
Yep, and private banks have the right to choose who they associate with. And if they don't want to associate with those people, again, the world has rejected that ideology, and they don't want to be in business with losers and hateful people.
Have you heard that
they're right.
Have you heard the rumor that the feds are involved behind...
In what?
Behind pushing these banks to debank them?
Oh, there's all kinds of rumors. I mean, listen, I've never done...
Have you heard that rumor, though?
In my life. I have, yeah.
Do you think there's any truth behind it?
Could be. I wouldn't be surprised by anything. The government's so corrupt. But I've never done weed in my life, but I don't think there's any reason for them to debank them either.
Yeah. I personally, I'm for discrimination, right? I'm for it. But it's kind of creepy. It's creepy. It seems wrong that these banks are debanking these people because they're kind of in bed with the government, you know? When you're in bed with the government as a bank, then maybe you're not supposed to discriminate like that. Or I don't know. It's weird. Or maybe they need to open it up because you're right. They're going after the crypto companies, and that's kind of an that's a control tactic. It is.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's an what's that word when you compete? Anti-competitive? Like sort of monopoly type stuff?
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right, we're agreeing too much. Let's fight now. So,
okay.
You mentioned discrimination.
Yeah.
I tried to call him out last week with Bigg Bump when you mentioned civil rights. And again, I've told you a million times, you're conflating LBJ's war on poverty and civil rights. Now, James, you went to Azusa Pacific, right?
I did.
What if they said, nope, James, you can't come here because you're a white guy with some Irish heritage? You like going to state parks, right?
I do.
What if they said, James, you can't come here, you're a white guy with some Irish heritage? What if you ever do get married and have children and you want to buy a house wherever you're done world pleased to leave a legacy for your children? No, James, you can't buy it here because you're a white guy with some Irish heritage.
Uh-huh.
That's all civil rights did, to protect you from all of that.
That's not all they did. And I don't know. I don't know what if that would happen. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that would bother me or not.
That's all the civil rights bill did.
But that's not all it did. That's not. You're not accurate in that statement. Because you're also telling because you're also telling private businesses that they can't discriminate, and private businesses should be able to discriminate, especially like smaller businesses. I'm not talking about ones that are huge and in bed with the government.
Okay, now think, James.
Yes.
That was your entire life, all those examples that I just gave you. Everywhere you turn. Nope, you're a white guy with Irish heritage. You can't do this, you can't do that. Nope, sorry. What chance would you have to better your life or better the life of your family members and your loved ones? Very, very limited.
It would be more limited in those areas, but it wouldn't be limited really, because I would get along with people. All these groups that have been discriminated against, the individuals found ways. The ones who were individuals.
Some did, most did not.
Because most people are losers, period. Most people live miserable lives of their own making.
Well, we can agree on that. But that's why civil rights protects you as well. All it says is that you can't discriminate education, housing, and public spaces. That's all it says.
That's not true, though.
It is what's true. Because welfare and all that kind of stuff, that's LBJ's war on poverty, not
How about
civil
integration?
rights.
How about forced integration? Was that part of so-called civil rights movement?
No, that was Brown versus Board of Education. Whole different law.
How about sit-ins at private businesses? Was that part of the civil rights movement?
Happened around the same time, but it was not part of the law, no.
No, but it was part of the movement.
And speaking of which, James, you do know that white people are the most on government assistance, right?
They're the most what?
People say, oh, blacks are the most on welfare per capita, and that is true on welfare.
Yep.
But when you add in food stamps and Medicaid, guess what? Per capita, it's white people who own most government assistance. Per capita.
And where are you getting that information?
So the point being is that
you don't want to tell.
That's a narrative. What?
I said, where are you getting that information?
Oh, I didn't hear that. Where I'm getting it from the SSA, the Social Security Administration.
Oh, did you just say Social Security or did you say food stamps? Because that's two different things.
No, it's part of that administration. They, from what I understand, they're the ones who oversee that.
Right. So per capita, when you include what?
Food stamps and Medicaid.
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 I don't know what Medicaid and Medicare are. I don't know the distinction between them. What's Medicaid?
Real quick. Medicare is something that everyone who has a job and employers pay into. So you're paying for it to be able to get access to government-run health care when you're 65. Medicaid is basically health care for people who are too poor to be able to afford health care anywhere else.
Wow. We should get rid of that.
Well, we just might under Trump. We'll see.
So I don't know if what you're saying is true, but that's... Why do you think that is? Is that because of the aging population?
Could be, but there's, folks tend to think that...
Because the aging population is majority white. The younger generation...
It is indeed.
The younger groups... So those numbers are going to change as the population ages.
Well, the demographics change. As you know, 2045 is coming.
Lord have mercy. 2045 is a buzzword for white minority.
Right. It's not really, though. I mean, if you look at it, it just means there'll still be the biggest group.
White plurality.
It's just not more than 51%. That's all it means.
So anyway, the private organizations, private businesses have a basic right to discriminate, and we've gone way, way, way out of control with this anti-discrimination stuff. And the war on poverty stuff, I don't care about that either. We should get rid of both of them. It's all evil. And you admit that it is disproportionately exploited by the blacks, whether or not the per capita thing is what you think or it is, or what other people think it is, depending on what they're studying. It doesn't matter.
I agree that everyone should pay their own wage. I've done it my whole life, and I believe everybody else should. But civil rights protects you and everybody, not just the blacks and people of color.
It doesn't protect me. It's evil.
I think if you were denied from the Pacific and that you couldn't go to state parks to do your videos and your photography, you feel differently.
But this is all if, and it has nothing to do with reality. And I don't really even know if I would have cared if I were denied from APU, because I didn't really care about college anyway. That's not why I went.
That's clear.
What do you mean that's clear?
If, because that's not your reality, James, but it is reality for many other people.
What? What's reality for you and other people?
I didn't say for me. I said for many other people.
Oh, what's reality for many other people?
People were discriminated against, James. I mean, heck, Thurgood Marshall, a giant in the legal field, he couldn't go to the University of Maryland the way he wanted to because he was black. He's even a simple light-skinned black, but they wouldn't let him in, even though they let in the Japanese guy.
But there were other schools where he could have. Was he even from that state? Was he even from that area?
Yes, he was.
Did he live 20 minutes away from it?
I don't know how close he was, but he ended up going to Howard Law School, and it worked out. But University of Maryland later on apologized. I mean, they rejected a
doesn't mean that they were wrong.
Justice. They rejected a Supreme Court justice, Hake, because of his skin color.
I don't know if I like or respect Thurgood Marshall at all. Wasn't he a black Democrat?
Most black people are Democrats, yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that he was a good guy.
He was an outstanding justice, legend, an absolute giant in the legal field.
That doesn't mean anything good.
According to you, but according to sensible people, yeah.
More like evil, thorough good.
How dumb do they look now? They look incredibly dumb because they would have loved to have that on their resume as a law school, but now they don't.
But so what? It's stupid. It's all just ego stuff, really. That doesn't shame on them for apologizing, honestly. I bet you the people who were involved weren't even the ones apologizing. And the people who were apologizing weren't even the ones involved. So that's stupid.
Well, they should have.
Why should they?
If you were denied those basic rights.
It's not a basic right to go to any college that you want.
James, your tax dollars pay for those state parks, in part. You should have access to them.
Maybe. But were blacks denied access to state parks?
You really don't know history.
Were they?
Of course, yes.
How so?
All kinds of public spaces.
You say things very flippantly. You say things very flippantly. For example, you said that today there are only such and such million American Indians. And I'm sure there were exponentially more than that. But there weren't.
Aha. No. I heard the person calling and said there was only 2 million.
Yeah.
The sources that I found, again, I couldn't find any really credible ones, but Wikipedia says there were anywhere from 8 to 100 million.
100 million. Please.
I'm sure you can go to Wikipedia and see for yourself, but I couldn't find any other sources to corroborate that.
You think there were 100 million and then we all smallpoxed and sneezed them away and genocided them away? Lord.
So, what would you call the age of cost, James? Is that not a genocide?
No, I don't call that a genocide. Because I don't buy in the word of genocide.
James, they literally tried to exterminate an entire people. What else would you call that?
I would call it a mass murder.
Well, that's technically accurate, yeah. But
yeah. So why not just have it mass murder? Because it was not just them that they were killing. They were killing a whole lot of people.
It was primarily them, and that was the intent behind it.
Fair, but weren't they also deporting them? If they were deporting them, that's not killing. They
started off doing that.
Yeah.
But then they said, no, it's easier and quicker to kill them.
I don't know, man. I don't like this genocide word because it makes it sound worse than mass murder. Mass murder kind of cheapens it, huh? It's not emotional enough. It doesn't make them special enough.
It doesn't address the root cause.
No, the root cause is, yes, it is. It does address the root cause.
James, they weren't mass murdering just anyone. They were focusing on...
Nobody mass murders just anyone, really.
Sure they do.
No, not true.
That's what serial killers do, just anyone.
What a mess. That's not really fair because you're comparing it to an individual mass murder as opposed to like a country's mass murder.
All right, well, we're not going to agree on that. Anyway.
Isn't it like trying to make somebody feel special, calling it genocide? And everybody wants to fight over getting something called a genocide.
I think it's just reality and looking at the actual facts.
I think it's a I don't know, man. I don't think it is because it is politicized. It is, everybody wants to get something deemed a genocide, like the Armenians want their thing deemed a genocide so they can get money. It's a political, emotional word.
Get money from who, James? I don't understand that.
I forget. But they wanted money. Maybe they wanted the Turkey to give money back to Armenia or something like that. I don't know. Reparations type mess.
Let's all pray that we can stop killing each other for any reason. How about that?
That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. You're right, but we can pray for it anyway.
I suggest that people get past their anger and bitterness and victimhood stuff, because all this stuff is a temptation to jump into victimhood, which is anger, which is evil, because victims become victimizers.
Oh, I hate agreeing with you, but that's a good point.
Yep. All right, Joe.
Well, I'm glad I ran off your Chief Keystone Cop.
Whatever.
Hope he never comes back, and I'll talk to you later. Have a good day.
We pray for our friend and fellow white Christian. Your friend and your fellow white Christian man, Mark. Thank you, Joe.
He would see me. Yeah. Yeah, he would see me dead. All right. Talk to you later.
Bye. See, there's that little hint of victimhood again. He said he would see me dead. That's what the same thing that Mark said about him. He wants me dead. They accused each other of wanting each other dead. There's that accusing the other person of being evil stuff. Not good. Not good. But shout out. Doom Jesus says, Joe lives in the imagination just like a typical evil woman. William in California is on the line. William, thank you for calling back, man. How you doing?
Hey, happy belated Thanksgiving.
Same to you, sir. Same to you.
I wish I could have asked Joe. I'm up at the ranch right now. You scared the hell out of me with this snake story.
Yeah.
But, I don't see them that much up here in Santa Rosa. I only look out for them if I get hay out of the barn, because I'm trying to get these animals to come closer to the barn where it's drier because it's been raining. But the snake thing, when you pick up the hay, you got to kind of look out for that.
Oh, yeah, true.
But I meant to ask Joe, next time you talk to him, ask him about that, because Arizona, they got snakes.
Oh, true, they do. I know a guy who got bit by the one that has neurotoxins. Anyway, yeah.
Diamondback?
Yeah, I think it was either a diamondback or one of those rattlesnakes, the one with the craziest toxin or whatever it is.
When I see them, I don't see diamondbacks, but when I see a snake like up here, I pick up the hay. I try to be careful, because if I see him, I'm going to drop the hay.
Yeah.
And that's usually going to be inside the barn. And at this temperature right now, it's in the 50s up here, but it's been raining a lot, so that's why I'm kind of got the tractor and herded them back towards the barn in the dry area so they don't bog in the mud.
I wonder what a tiger snake looks like. Tiger snake.
Yeah. Probably not very nice. But I bet you Joe, I wanted to ask him about that. I bet you Joe doesn't probably even have a snake problem if he has goats.
Oh, goats can handle snakes, huh?
Break them off.
Large and highly venomous snake of southern Australia.
You got to realize a goat will eat anything.
Goats are awesome.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
I got cows. He's got goats. Now, I've never seen snakes around these cows, but I always got my eye open,
Yeah, it's good for you, man. Whenever I used to run in the mountains and hills, I would, especially during springtime in the mornings.
Yeah.
You got to watch out.
Bear.
Say again?
About like up at Black Bear Mountain?
Yeah, Big Bear.
Big Bear, yeah, Big Bear, yeah.
Yeah, even in the foothills, just north of, Arcadia and all that.
Yeah.
Pasadena, Laverne, Marshall Canyon, Mount Sac, the foothills over there. Cal Poly, Pomona. There are snakes there and rattlers. And I remember jumping over a rattler by accident because I thought it was like a pile of cow manure. Yeah. And then I heard the rattle. I was like, whoa.
But they don't, I was just down in Pomona for the race, but you're not going to see snakes too much around people. They just don't want to be around people and everything, But I meant to ask Joe about that, or somebody asked him about that problem, because they do got snakes in Arizona.
That is awesome.
Your guest had a great subject, Bigg Bump.
Bigg Bump. Oh, yeah.
And I say bring him back.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we can finish that subject. Because it's very interesting that California is trying to say that their job market went up when they're only really counting
so cool
jobs that were people that already had these jobs before the pandemic, and they're counting those.
Oh, you're talking about the California government jobs.
Yeah.
Man, snakes are so
he was onto something. He really was onto something, because really it's just people going back to the jobs, and then on top of that, you have to think about their government jobs, state, federal, state, federal, and local government, those jobs, big government.
Yeah.
He was on to something there, but California is losing they're top 1% of taxpayers, like Tesla and Toyota.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they're not really counting the private sector; they're counting the public jobs.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because they only got what 5,300 private jobs. The heck.
Yeah. See, the private sector is leaving California, and those are the top taxpayer.
Yeah.
For everything. And I think his subject was derailed by this. You can't talk about the blacks.
That makes for a good conversation, though. Denise and
makes for a very, very long-winded conversation because you absolutely can talk about the blacks. They're always in the news,
right?
And they're entertaining.
True.
So I don't, I'm just say this: the conversation about Black Wall Street. They rebuilt that stuff a long time ago, so I don't know where that's coming from. They took it, and I don't know where that. Black Wall Street was rebuilt, and I don't even think there's too many black banks left in the country.
True. It
may not be 20. It may not be 20 black-owned banks in this whole country.
Wow.
There was one in San Francisco, but that was kind of. I may have been a little child when they ended. So a lot of people were remiss to put their, not remiss, people pretty much don't put their money in them. And the banks were not taken, they just went under.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes, cherry picking this information, nobody's really taken black people's land.
Interesting point.
If you are in the way of something that's eminent domain, if it's for the good of the state or the county, okay, you either take the check or get lost. But I don't know anybody who's gotten their land taken from them.
Yeah, I don't either. And I know that Maze has her pet stories, but regardless, it doesn't matter. Like
James, I also have land in Texas, and that's the one I wouldn't mess around with any kind of farming because there's a lot of snakes down there. But that land has been there in my family since 1918. It hasn't been taken.
Eminent domain can be a problem. You know how they can just take it.
It could be a problem, but it could be that you got something in an area where they have to take it. There is a problem with the Bundy ranchers. Remember the Bundy ranchers? They had to, they were kind of fighting for their land. Mm-hmm. And also up in Malheur Ranch up in Oregon, they were fighting for their land rights. Yeah.
And so there is a violation. Wow, a death adder.
But there's a lot of blacks in the South, in Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Alabama. They still have that stuff.
Right.
They still have it, So the cherry picking is crazy because Wall Street, that's been rebuilt since like the 1940s. It's been already redone.
Yeah, indeed. I know that.
I wanted to throw that out there. You need to get Bigg Bump back on and let that man finish his subject because he was on to something. No, he really was, because they're counting jobs that were already there before the pandemic.
Right.
Which ain't fair.
Yeah.
Don't count that. I like the way Jesse addressed it. He addressed one of these women's voices.
Yeah, wasn't that beautiful?
Get that a lot.
Nicely done.
It was well put the way he did, and she sounded different 10 seconds later,
It was with love, too.
I mean, I hear this all the time. You don't think we hear this all the time? No. Oh, my God. It's like, shut up.
Right. Nice.
Shut your hole under your nose. But I just wanted to tell you that was a good subject that he had, and I'd like to see him come back. Always try to catch Bigg Bump. I like him.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Right on. Appreciate it, William in California.
Take care.
You as well. Take care. Look at baby Hake. Somebody said, young Hake. What's up, modern day debate? I used to wear In-N-Out shirts all the time. Look how well that thing fit. Was that a size large or a size medium? I don't know. But anyway, this is like 2008-ish, I think. Yeah, no, 2009. And it's me holding a snake going around with my herper friends, herpetology in Arizona, southeastern Arizona. Unfortunately, you can't see the snake's face because it's moving around. Fun times. So beautiful. Real quick, let me get to Rick in Hampton, VA. What's up, Rick? How you doing, man?
What's up, Brother James? How was your Thanksgiving, brother?
It was nice. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Man, sure, man. I just want to comment on what William's saying about snakes, man. I'm here in Hampton, Virginia, and I'm an HVAC tech by trade, and then when we go by these, outside units, hey, snakes hide up in there too, man. One thing about snakes, man, it's not that you going to harm them, it's about you surprising them.
Oh, yeah.
If you surprise an animal, they're going to strike you.
Yeah, and you want to be alert.
So, yeah.
Yep, and you don't want them to surprise you.
Gotta be alert, man.
Right.
So most of the time, I give me a stick and just make sure ain't no snake. Hey, look, I'm not here to harm you, and don't harm me. You go your way, and I go mine.
That's right.
And most times, animals won't bother you, but it's about a lot of times when people get struck, man, they've been caught them by surprise or either stepped on them, and they strike back.
Yep. Yeah, true. I go down to, Joe mentioned I go to state parks. I went down to San Onofre at one time, and I went down this side trail, and I was coming back up it, and I saw this snake slithering through the brush right in front of me. I'm like, oh, and it was a rattler, and I tried to record it, but I was so nervous that I forgot to hit record. So it was a mess. I was taking photographs.
Yeah, snakes. I saw one when I was at the beach this year.
Yep.
He went right past me, and snake went across. It was a black gardener snake, and they move fast too.
Oh, yeah.
The snake was that fast.
Yeah, they're surprising. Fortunately, a garter snake is not so dangerous, right? They're not venomous.
Right. Actually, they're good snakes.
Yeah.
they keep rodents and poison snakes away from you.
Yep.
But when people are scared of snakes, man, they don't care what color they look. If it's a snake, he's getting the axe.
Right, I know.
Yeah. So
don't surprise them.
But this victimhood thing too.
Yeah.
To me, all this victimhood is taught to me mostly by liberals in the public school system, and it gets ingrained into liberals. Man, it's like it's almost hard to break.
Yeah.
Break them from it.
Yeah.
You know that movie, Bonefella? It's a movie. It's a Christian. It was a minister during the Hitler years.
Oh.
And the main theme of that movie I think it's Boneheller or something, the name of the movie.
Okay.
But anyway, the movie was about that they didn't preach the gospel to the Nazis. It's like they was afraid.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't preach the gospel to them.
Yeah.
And they was I guess the main thing is if people would have been more bold about preaching the gospel, because a lot of Christians tend, they passionate about going to church, they're passionate about going to weekly services and Bible studies, but when it comes to witnessing to non-believers, it seems like Christians don't want to. I guess they feel they're gonna have confrontation, not gonna be able to answer every question.
Interesting. Possibly.
So I think that's how. So that's just my take on that, though. I used to try to have reasonable conversations with people, but when I see a person being crazy, just having silly conversations just to try and prove that he's right, I usually just leave him alone.
Yeah.
That's real talk.
That's true. That's good to do. Rick, I got to run, man. I have to wrap up for Joel Friday to come in, and I'm some super chats to read.
Okay.
Call me again, man.
All right, then. Well, love y'all, man.
Yeah, you too.
Good show, man. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Lord, say the same.
Sounds good, man. Take care.
Oh, yes, sir.
Bye. Interesting. Over on D Live, I have a bunch from D Live. Mobetta says this correctional counselor went to that kid's mama house because he was trying to get with the mama. Oh, I read that one. That's talking about Bigg Bump and Popcorn's Thump Kegs Instagram video a tip from him about that guy yelling at the boy for being disrespectful to his mother, the black boy. Mobetta gave a diamond saying, no comment, just donating for you and BB's time, Bigg Bump's time. Thank you, Mobetta. That was last week. Fortunately, I see it here again. Nah, Hake, you read all mine. Winky face, thanks. He says, maybe ice wall equals dimensional portal? Because I kept going east for 2 months and ended up back in Cali. Interesting. If you go east far enough, you go all the way around the ball Earth. Explain that, flat earthers. Shout out. Joe from Arizona posted up his 9 Inch Nails poster and our savior with actual 9 Inch nails. LOL. Lord. Were they 9 inch? The ones that they put Jesus up? Oh, the Bible does say there's something about crucifying the Lord all over again. Mobetta says, Rick from VA, exactly. Indeed. And a coffee from the Little Rock It Man, Quaaludes, 2 A's in Quaaludes, right? Weed and flip-flop, thong flip-flops, sandals. Which is, why did you refer to it like that? Shoe thong, why did you refer to it like that? The sandals. I mean, that's what they were called. I didn't know the other word back then. Pity for the poor children who listen to you. That's why I don't censor myself anymore. What? Can you please finish reading my 2 super chats from Friday in full? No, I'm not going to read it because it's addressing other people, and I don't address other people. I'll check over them again, but I don't think we don't do shout outs like that. Or, maybe I will. Oh, yeah, I'll check. Some of them are for me. That's a good point. Maybe I will. Thank you for the reminder. You don't think Thurgood Marshall was good? I don't know. I don't know anything about Thurgood Marshall. But if Joe respects him, I'm leery. Crazy how Ruby Ridges is still alive today. I know you hate that. Ruby Bridges? Any form of black excellence is what you hate. Lowercase b, buddy. Thank you for playing the Chicken Lips Friday. Yeah. That ricocheted me to having a really great weekend in spite of you praying the worst for me. James, what's your grown-up Christmas list? Many laughing faces emojis. I don't know, man. Thank you for the coffee. Lord. Saying flip-flop is not bad. I gotta end, though, guys. Joel Friday is coming up. I do believe. Oh, let me schedule him. Let me set the redirect to go. And in the meantime, let me play a song. I know I only have 2 minutes here. What's a nice short song that I can play? Short. No. Do you want some like crazy loud music? Ampere, remain unadapted. Bye, guys. It might be kind of loud. It's rough. Cover your ears, kids. Well, that ended too fast. I gotta set the redirect to Joel Friday TV. Thank you, guys. Maybe it didn't end fast enough for some of you guys. Joel Friday TV today. Punchy TV today. American Anchor Baby is back. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. Take care. Oh, I forgot even to show this thing. What a mess. All right, bye, guys. Take care.